My mother-in-law had no idea I was paying $5,600 in rent every single month. She honestly believed she could just tell me to move out of the house so her older son and his wife could move in and start their family there. When she said it, I froze. I was holding my mug mid-air, and I just stayed like that for a second. She didn't ask, she didn't explain, she didn't show even a bit of discomfort. She just decided. Lauren, my wife, was sitting at the table scrolling on her phone. She looked up for barely a second when her mom spoke, then went right back to it. No defense, no reaction, nothing. That hurt more than anything my mother-in-law said. My name is Daniel Park. I'm 32 years old. I work at a mid-sized tech company, and I've been married to Lauren Mitchell for 3 years. We lived in a 4-bedroom house in Westchester, New York. A good neighborhood, great schools, the kind of place young couples struggle to afford. Carol Mitchell, my mother-in-law, always made sure she was around. She had opinions about everything. The furniture, the meals, our weekends, even our trips. I learned pretty quickly to nod, stay quiet, and avoid conflict. I became the easy son-in-law. The one who smiled during family dinners, helped with the dishes without being asked, and silently dealt with the passive-aggressive comments about how my career wasn't as impressive as her kids. For 3 years, I was basically invisible, and deep down, I accepted it. Until that day. When did you think this would happen? I asked quietly. Carol made a vague gesture. It doesn't have to be right away, maybe 1 or 2 months. Ethan's lease ends in August, so they had time. Time to figure things out. You can find something smaller, she added. Something more suitable for the two of you. More suitable meant cheaper. I placed my mug down carefully and looked at Lauren. She still avoided my eyes. All right, I said. Carol smiled, satisfied. I knew you'd understand. You've always been so reasonable, Daniel. She left about 20 minutes later, most likely calling Ethan right away. Only then did Lauren look up from her phone. You're not actually mad, right? Why would I be? I asked. I don't know. You seem tense. I let out a small laugh. I couldn't stop it. Your mom just kicked me out of my own house. It's not your house, she said automatically, then paused. I mean, it's ours, but my mom is right. Ethan and Rachel need the space. There it was. Clear. Simple. Her family always came first, and I only realized it because I allowed it. That night, lying next to Lauren while she slept peacefully, I kept thinking about the rent. $5,600. Every month. Always on time. She helped with groceries and a few bills. Maybe around $800 at most. Her part-time social media job wasn't stable. But everything else? That was on me. Carol believed the house belonged to the Mitchell family, that I was living there because of their generosity. She had no idea. And honestly, neither did Lauren. I paid everything so consistently that it became invisible, just part of the background. I looked at Lauren sleeping and wondered when I became so easy to ignore. Even so, I slept better that night than I had in months, because something had changed. When Carol told me to leave, she didn't realize she was giving me a way out. The next morning, at 8:47, I called a moving company, not to ask for a quote, to book it. I need a full move, a 4-bedroom house. I want to be out before Saturday. There was a pause. This Saturday? The woman asked. That's 5 days. I know. Can you do it? We can, but there's a rush fee. That's fine. We'll need a deposit today, Tuami $400. I gave her my card without hesitation. After that, I sat at my desk, the one I bought and assembled myself while Lauren was at her mom's house, and opened my files. I had everything organized. Rent, furniture, appliances, every major expense, the couch in the living room, $2,800, bought in October 2021, my card, the TV, the dining table. Almost everything had been paid by me. To Carol, it was family property. To me, it was mine. I started packing Tuesday afternoon. Slow, organized, clothes first, documents, books, electronics last. I didn't touch anything that wasn't mine, which, in the end, wasn't much. Around 4 p.m., Lauren came back from a coffee with her sister. She dropped her bag on the hallway table. Daniel, are you home? In the office, I said. She walked in, saw the boxes, and stopped. What is this? I'm packing. For what? I'm moving out, like your mom asked. Her expression shifted. Confusion first, then fear. I didn't think you were serious. I looked at her. Why wouldn't I be? She shook her head. This is too much. It didn't have to be now. My mom was just talking. She told me to leave so Ethan could move in, I said. so I'm leaving. Where are you going? I signed a lease yesterday, a 1-bedroom in White Plains, close to work. Her eyes widened. You signed something without talking to me? I held her gaze. Did you talk to me before your mom told me to leave? She didn't answer. The next morning at exactly 10 a.m., Carol showed up without warning. I was in the middle of wrapping picture frames when I heard the door unlock. She stepped inside carrying shopping bags and stopped the moment she saw the living room half empty. Daniel, what's going on? She asked. I'm moving out, I said. The bag slipped from her hands. What? You told me to leave, I said calmly, so I'm leaving. Her expression tightened. I didn't mean this week. Then when? I asked. I don't know. August, maybe September. I shrugged slightly. You said I had to go. You didn't say when. I picked my time. She walked straight to the kitchen, her voice rising. Lauren, what is happening? Lauren came out of the bedroom already looking stressed. Mom, I don't know. He just started packing. Make him stop. I can't force him. Carol turned back to me and I could see something had shifted in her expression. This is ridiculous, she said. You're acting childish. I kept sealing a box, writing books on the side. Daniel, I'm talking to you. I know. Then answer me. I stood up and looked at her. You told me to leave. I'm leaving. That's it. Her jaw tightened. We need to talk like adults. I'm ready, I said. About your attitude. My attitude is cooperating, I replied. You know that's not what I meant. Do I? The question hung there. Her face turned red. This house needs to stay in the family. It's not in the family, I said quietly. It's a rental. Michael needs it. Then Michael can rent it. He can't afford it. She froze. What do you mean he can't afford it? The rent is $500-600. The room went completely still. Lauren looked up immediately. What? I looked at her. You didn't know how much the rent is? I thought we split it, she said quickly. Or that, I don't know, someone else helped. Who? I asked. Silence. I pay the rent, I said. Every month, for the past 3 years. It comes out of my account. Lauren stared at me like she didn't recognize me. That's not possible. You can check, I said. You never asked. No one said anything after that. The silence felt heavy. Carol slowly sat down on the couch, my couch. Her hands were shaking. And who's going to pay if you leave? She asked quietly. I didn't answer. We both knew the answer. No one. Thursday morning, the movers arrived. 2 guys, Marcus and Tyler, mid to late 20s, fast, efficient. They walked through the house, wrapping furniture, lifting boxes, asking what belonged to me. Everything, I said. Everything you see. Around noon, Carol showed up again. She had been calling me all morning. I didn't answer. She walked in and stopped dead. The couch was already wrapped. The TV was gone. The dining table had been taken apart. You can't take everything, she snapped. Yes, I can, I said. Everything of value here is mine. This is insane. I handed her a folder. Receipts, purchases, bank records, everything highlighted. She opened it. Page by page, her face changed. The couch, mine. The appliances, mine. The table, mine. She looked around the house like she was seeing it for the first time. Where are we supposed to sit? She whispered. I almost laughed. That wasn't my problem anymore. Lauren came out of the bedroom, her eyes red from crying. Mom, he's taking the washer and dryer. Carol looked at me, panicked. You can't do that. Yes, I can. I have the receipts. But we need? I cut her off. You asked me to leave 3 days ago. You didn't ask what I paid for. You didn't ask what belonged to me. You just decided I had to go. Marcus walked past us, pushing the washer on a dolly. Carol watched it like she was at a funeral. Daniel, please, she said, her voice breaking. Can we talk? Not right now, I said quietly. Why not? Because you never cared enough to ask before. By 6 p.m. that Thursday, the house was almost empty. No couch, no TV, no dining table, no appliances, just the basic structure of the house. Even the good cookware was gone. Lauren was sitting on the bedroom floor, surrounded by the few things I didn't take. The dresser, the nightstand, an old desk her mom insisted on keeping years ago. I didn't know, she said when I walked in for my last box. I swear I didn't know you were paying for everything. How? I asked. How did you not know? I thought we split it. I thought... She broke down again. I'm sorry. Sorry didn't fix anything. What do you want me to say? I asked. Nothing, she whispered. I don't have anything left to say. I picked up my last box and headed for the door. Daniel. I stopped. Are we getting divorced? I actually thought about it. I don't know yet, I said honestly, but I'm done being invisible. By Friday morning, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Calls, messages, voicemails. Lauren first. We need to talk. Then Carol. This is insane. You're tearing the family apart. Then more messages. Your mother is in shock. I read them. Didn't respond. I blocked Carol's number and muted the family group chat. A few minutes later, an unknown number called. I almost ignored it. Daniel Park? The voice asked. Yes. This is Raymond Collins, the property owner. I need to talk to you about your lease. My stomach tightened. What happened? Your mother-in-law contacted me this morning, he said. She told me you're moving out and that her son Ethan will be taking over the lease. That's not how this works, I said. I'm aware, he replied, sounding tired. But she's insisting. I need clarity. The lease is under your name only. It's my lease, I said. Not hers, not my wife's. Understood. If you're leaving, I'll need the standard 30-day notice and the property returned as agreed. I sent the notice yesterday, I said. Email at 9 a.m. Yes, I received it, he said. But Mrs. Mitchell seems to think, Mrs. Mitchell doesn't get to think anything about this. I cut in. The contract is mine. There was a short pause. Understood, he said again. So the lease ends in 30 days from your notice. Exactly. Will anyone be taking it over? No. Another pause. Well, that's going to upset her quite a bit. That's her problem. He let out a small laugh. Fair enough. After we hung up, I opened my banking app and made the final rent payment, $5,600. In the description, I wrote, final payment. Then I called my lawyer, David Harper, mid-40s, experienced, straight to the point. Daniel, he said, how did the move go? Finished yesterday, I said. But I need advice. Go ahead. My wife and her family won't stop contacting me. Calls, messages. They showed up at my new place this morning at 6 a.m. That early? He said. Yeah. Do you have records of everything? 73 messages since yesterday, 12 calls, and they showed up in person. That might be enough, he said. We can start with a formal notice. If they don't stop, we escalate. Can I file something against my mother-in-law? Yes, but we'll need to show harassment or intimidation. Send me everything you have. All right. Later that day, Lauren called again. I almost didn't answer. This is cruel, she said as soon as I picked up. No, I replied calmly. Cruel was ignoring me for 3 years, treating me like I didn't matter, like I was just... There. She started crying. We're going to lose the house. That's not my problem. Where are we supposed to go? Figure it out, I said, just like I had to. I hung up, blocked her number too. A few hours later, another unknown number called. I answered out of curiosity. Daniel, please, a voice said. Jessica, Ethan's wife. My mom is having panic attacks, she said. Ethan and I can't handle this. You need to help. Why would I asked. Because you're family. I paused for a second. I was family when it was convenient, I said. When I was paying for everything without saying a word. Now I'm disposable. That's not fair. Life isn't fair, I said. You'll understand that soon enough. I hung up. On Monday morning, I got an email from Raymond Collins. Subject, lease status update. I opened it. Daniel, your mother-in-law came to my office today with her son, Ethan. They want to take over the lease. I explained that they would need to qualify. Credit check, proof of income, first month's rent and deposit. I kept reading. Ethan's credit score is 580. His annual income is $42,000. He does not qualify. I exhaled slowly. She offered to co-sign, but she is retired and lives on fixed income. She also does not qualify, of course. I've given them until September 1st to vacate, just informing you in case they try to contact you again. Thank you for being a reliable tenant. I read the email twice, then forwarded it to David, just to have everything documented. That was it. That was the collapse. By Tuesday night, everything had already fallen apart. Jessica had tried calling again from another number. I didn't pick up this time. I was done explaining myself. That same night, I got a few more messages from Lauren. Short ones this time. We need to fix this. Please. I didn't know. I read them. didn't reply. The next day, Wednesday morning, I was at work when security called my desk. "Mr. Park," the receptionist said, "there's a Lauren Mitchell here asking for you. Should we let her up?" I paused. For a second, I almost said yes, then I thought about everything. "No," I said. "Tell her I'm not available." There was a short silence. "Understood." A few minutes later, I walked over to the window. I saw her leaving the building. She looked smaller somehow, like the confidence she used to carry was gone, tired, defeated. I stood there for a while, watching her disappear into the parking lot. Then I went back to work. The divorce didn't take long. About 2 months after I moved out, everything was finalized. Lauren didn't fight it, didn't ask for anything. No money, no arguments, no complications. She just signed. When David called me, his tone was almost surprised. "It's done," he said. "Clean divorce. No future obligations." "That was fast," I said. "She didn't try to delay anything," he added. "Sometimes that says a lot." "Yeah," I said quietly. "It does." A few months later, I got a message from Ethan. I almost ignored it. But something made me open it. "I thought you should know," he wrote. "Mom had a heart attack. She's okay, but the doctors said it was stress. She's at White Plains Hospital, in case you want to visit." I stared at the message for a long time. Hours, actually. I didn't answer, but later that day, I went, 4th floor. Cardiology. When I walked into the room, she was asleep, connected to machines. She looked smaller than I remembered, older, fragile. Lauren was sitting next to the bed. She looked up when I walked in, surprised. "Daniel, you came." "Yeah," I said. We sat in silence for a few minutes, then she spoke. "I'm sorry," she said, "for everything, for not seeing it, for not standing up for you." I nodded slowly. "I know," I said, "but saying sorry doesn't erase 3 years of being invisible." She looked down. Didn't argue. A few minutes later, Carol opened her eyes. It took her a second to recognize me. "Daniel." "Hi, Carol." She looked confused. "Why are you here?" I took a breath. "Because, despite everything, I'm not a cruel person." Her eyes filled with tears. "I lost everything," she said. I shook my head slightly. "No," I said quietly. "You lost what you thought was guaranteed." "That's not the same thing." She looked at me, struggling to speak. "I should have asked," she whispered. "About the rent?" I said. "About everything." I nodded. "Yeah," I said. "You should have." There was a long pause. "Can you forgive me?" she asked. I didn't answer right away. I thought about it. Really thought about it. "I don't know yet," I said honestly. "But I'll tell you this. I'm not going back to being the person who stays quiet and just accepts everything." She nodded slowly. "If you want me in your life," I added, "it has to be with respect. Otherwise, distance is better." She closed her eyes and nodded again. I didn't stay much longer. I left before things got too emotional. Today, 6 months later, I'm sitting in my 1-bedroom apartment in White Plains. It's smaller, quieter, but it's mine. Lauren texts occasionally. Updates about her mom, nothing more. I reply politely. That's it. Carol sent me a handwritten card a few weeks ago. "Thank you for everything you did that I never saw. I'm sorry I realized too late." I kept it. Not because it fixes anything, but because it's the truth. That's when I understood something. You can't force people to value you. You can only decide what you're willing to accept. For 3 years, I accepted being invisible because it was easier than demanding to be seen. The day Carol told me to leave, she didn't realize what she was really doing. She wasn't making space for her son. She was giving me a reason to finally walk away, and in the process, I remembered something I had forgotten. I deserved better than silence, better than being overlooked. The fear I saw in her eyes when everything was being taken out of the house, it wasn't about the furniture. It was about losing control she never should have had in the first place. And honestly, I'm glad she lost it, because that's how I finally found something much more important, myself.